In today's world, it feels like getting paid for your work or your services, even passion projects sometimes. It can be more complicated than the actual work.
Oh, absolutely. All those fees, maybe needing special terminals, setting up online stores.
Mm.
It can be a lot.
Yeah, real headache. But what if there was a simpler way, a way to just cut through all that?
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're really digging into something interesting. It's a set of sources, excerpts actually, from a platform called JustPayFor.com. And they promise a free checkout system.
Right. So our mission here, I think, is to unpack that. How does this platform actually work? What does free really mean here?
Good point.
And maybe most importantly, who's this actually for? Who benefits most from this kind of online payment setup?
Yeah.
We need to look at their claims, security, simplicity, and figure out what it could mean for you listening if you're trying to make accepting money online less of a hassle.
Exactly. We're going to try and pull out the key bits of info from these pages, give you a shortcut to understanding it without, getting totally bogged down.
Sounds good.
So, okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So, right off the bat, looking at these JustPayFor.com excerpts, the thing that jumps out is that huge claim, completely free to use.
Mm-hmm. Big letters, usually.
Totally. And they give specifics. No fees for registration, no platform usage costs, no monthly subscription. I mean, that sounds almost too good to be true, right?
It always does, doesn't it? The word free definitely makes you pause in this business.
So for listeners, maybe they know other platforms.
Oh, yeah.
How does that stack up? And this 2% thing they mentioned, what does that tell us? Is it really different?
Okay, yeah, that's the key question. What's interesting is they are pretty upfront about the cost. They say the only cost is a small payment processing fee, up to 2%.
Right. The catch.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
But that up to 2%, it's actually quite competitive, often lower than traditional gateways, especially those that add monthly fees or setup costs on top.
Okay.
So the insight, they're likely running lean, a volume-based model. They probably make money when you make money. It means you avoid that upfront investment in a terminal or a whole e-commerce site build.
Makes sense.
And they also stress that funds are transferred directly to your account fast and risk-free. That direct transfer part is important.
And they really push the security angle too, don't they? Talk about SSL encryption.
They do.
Is that like enough now with everything going on? Or should we be looking for more, especially if you're handling, I don't know, bigger amounts or growing?
Good question. SSL, Secure Sockets Layer, it's foundational. It's like the minimum standard, totally non-negotiable for online transactions.
Okay.
The sources say your security is our priority. All transactions are safeguarded with SSL encryption. Sensitive information remains fully protected. So they cover that baseline.
Which is good.
Absolutely essential for trust. But you're right, for, let's say, higher volumes or more complex businesses, you'd ideally want to see more layers. Things like multi-factor authentication for the seller, maybe some sophisticated fraud detection.
Right.
The source highlights the basics, which is crucial, but yeah, it doesn't detail those more advanced layers. That's something for a user to think about as their needs grow, definitely.
Okay, so if it's free-ish and, baseline secure, the next big question is, how does it actually work? How do you use it?
Uh-huh.
And the sources lay out this really clear how payments work in 5 simple steps, which again sounds almost too simple.
Yeah, simple steps can sometimes hide complexity, can't they?
Totally. Where do people usually get stuck with these things? And does this look like it avoids those common problems?
That's fair. Let's break it down.
Okay.
Step 1, create your seller profile. Foundational, like they say. Now, creating a profile anywhere usually means some ID checks, KYC, AML stuff.
Right, the paperwork bit.
Exactly. A small hurdle maybe, but necessary for security and legal reasons. Step 2, share payment details with the customer. Could be a payment number, link, or QR code.
Okay, flexible.
Yeah, that's where the simplicity helps. You can send a link in an email, show a QR code in person, give a number over the phone. Lots of options. Step 3, the customer enters the code on the website. They use a redeem code field. Crucially, the customer doesn't seem to need an account. That lowers friction a lot.
Oh, nice.
Step 4, the customer reviews the offer and completes the payment. So they check the details, confirm it's right, standard checkout step.
Got it.
And then step 5, funds are transferred to your account. Instantly, they say, via your chosen payment provider. That direct transfer, again, is key. No waiting for platform payouts.
Wow, okay. That does sound incredibly straightforward. It really seems to strip away a lot of the usual stuff, the complexity we often link with online payments.
It does aim for that, clearly.
But here's where it gets really interesting for me. Who is this actually for?
Yeah.
And what kind of new things could people do with this?
Exactly. Because it's not just the what, it's the who and how. The source material pitches it as the perfect solution for small businesses, freelancers, service providers, basically anyone wanting simpler payment management.
Right.
And it gives concrete examples, like you can sell via phone or social media. Perfect if you don't have or want a full web store. Think Instagram sellers or taking orders on Messenger.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
It also lets you accept deposits and reservations. Huge for service businesses, right? Think coaches, consultants, maybe salons, booking agents. Improves cash flow.
Definitely.
It explicitly calls itself a perfect tool for professionals looking to simplify the payment process, listing service providers, freelancers, coaches, and consultants. These are often people working directly with clients.
Makes sense for them.
And here's a really neat one. You can collect donations or organize fundraisers. So for community projects, personal causes, you don't need a big, complex donation platform that often takes a bigger percentage.
That's actually really useful.
Yeah.
So boiling it down for you, the listener, whether you're selling crafts, booking coaching clients, taking deposits, or even running a small fundraiser, this seems designed to handle just the payment part really easily, to let you focus on what truly matters your customers and your sales, like they say, not wrestling with tech.
Precisely. And beyond that core function, the sources mention other standard bits too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the website apparently has the usual stuff: login, contact, and FAQ. Also, specific sections for become a seller and customer resources, terms and conditions. Always read the T&Cs.
Always good advice.
And a copyright notice from 2022-2025 suggesting it's an active, ongoing thing.
And interesting, they include a UTR number, 164375762. What does that signal for people who aren't familiar?
Oh, the UTR number, unique taxpayer reference. It's basically a UK thing, similar to an EIN in the US. It's a business tax ID. It's a small detail, but it signals they're a registered business entity with the tax authorities. Adds a layer of legitimacy, accountability, shows they're not just some fly-by-night operation.
Right, good to know. So, okay, after digging through all this, it really does seem like JustPayFor.com is positioning itself as this pretty solid, free-to-start way to handle online payments.
Yeah, focus on simplicity, basic security, with that transaction fee as the main cost.
Designed to kind of knock down those usual barriers, make it easier for individuals, small businesses. Now, a lot of our listeners will know the big names, Stripe, PayPal. How does something like JustPayFor.com fit in? Where's its specific niche? Who genuinely picked this over those guys?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Stripe, PayPal, they offer huge toolkits, right? Full e-commerce checkout, subscriptions, complex integrations.
Yeah, they do everything.
But that often means more complex setup, maybe higher fees overall, or needing more technical know-how. JustPayFor.com seems to be carving out its space by going hard on extreme simplicity and low overhead.
For specific use cases.
Exactly. For direct, person-to-person sales or simple service payments. If you don't need a fancy shopping cart or detailed analytics or complex recurring billing.
If you just want to send a link and get paid?
Pretty much. If your main goal is just a simple payment request and getting the money quickly, this could be way lighter and more cost-effective. It's for those who want to cut to the chase, avoid the extra bells and whistles they won't use anyway.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Which I guess leads to a really important question for you listening. If getting paid online can be this straightforward, this low cost, what could that open up for you? What ideas, what ventures have maybe been sitting on the back burner because setting up payments just seemed too daunting?
Yeah, maybe you had a side hustle idea, wanted to offer some consulting, but the thought of building a store or figuring out payment gateways just stopped you.
Right.
This kind of platform really lowers that barrier significantly.
It's definitely something powerful to think about, isn't it? Something to mull over. How easily you might be able to start getting paid for your skills, your services online.
Absolutely.
Well, we hope this deep dive has given you a clear, sort of informed look at what seems like a really interesting option out there in the online payment world.